Chicago shines in the summer. It's when tourism numbers typically go up here for good reason. But when the picturesque is replaced by images like these from the weekend, crime numbers near an all-time high in the Loop. For some, this great summer city loses its luster.
Chicago is a major city filled with diverse and sprawling neighborhoods. Many of the neighborhoods on this list have made significant contributions to the culture and identity of Chicago. However, these neighborhoods have consistently ranked as being the most dangerous in Chicago and some of the worst areas in the entire country. Therefore, when looking to buy or rent, it's always best to research the area to make sure you don't end up in one of the most dangerous parts of Chicago. And if you're still unsure after checking statistics, you can always ask residents if they feel safe living there.
People in the South Shore neighborhood asking for help after a shooting left a 17-year-old boy dead.
Members of the organization Neighborhood Network Alliance say there is a need for mental health services in light of the violence they say is plaguing the South Shore community.
The other day we lost 3 people. 3. One was a teenager. Some of our neighbors saw exactly what happened and not saying anything. Right now, our community is hurt.
Here at the corner of 70th and Clyde is where Donald Muhammad says he was just trying to take his son out of the car Sunday night when gunfire erupted. Just looking at the damage left behind on his car helps paint a picture of what happened here.
This is an epidemic, and it doesn't affect me. It affects children every day. It affects adults. It affects innocent
telling us 2 people described as teens wearing ski masks, one wearing camo, kicked in an apartment door, ran inside, demanded money before opening fire. Police found 2 people dead inside this apartment building. Police sources confirmed that is 1 woman and 1 man. 3 others were also shot. Those who survived this are all in critical condition at area hospitals right now. That includes one of the victims who ran to a nearby McDonald's for help. Right now, that McDonald's is shut down and roped off with crime tape.
The South Shore neighborhood in Chicago is home to beautiful beaches along the Great Lakes, but unfortunately, it also has a high crime rate. With a population of 54,000, South Shore's overall crime rate is 7,573 crimes per 100,000 people, meaning the chances of becoming a victim of any type of crime are 1 in 13. The violent crime rate is 2,454 per 100,000 people, with robbery and assault being common crimes. Unfortunately, murder and gun violence rates are much higher than the national average. The property crime rate is 5,120 incidents per 100,000 people, making the chance of being a victim of property crime 1 in 20. While South Shore has many great features, it is important to be aware of the neighborhood's crime statistics and take necessary precautions to stay safe. At number 9, we have Riverdale.
And remember, the city of Chicago does not allow gun stores, which helps explain why ATF analysts found suburbs that ring the city, including Lyons, Oak Forest, Riverdale, Melrose Park, and Gary, Indiana, are the top local sources of guns later used in crime.
Riverdale is a neighborhood in Chicago that has a reputation for being one of the most dangerous places to live in the city. With a population of around 13,000 people, it has a crime rate of 7,682 per 100,000 individuals. The violent crime rate is extremely high, with residents having a 1 in 39 chance of becoming a victim. The prevalence of property crime is also a major concern, with 4,743 incidents per 100,000 people, translating to a 1 in 22 chance of becoming a victim. Riverdale's location on the far south end of Chicago makes it a challenging place to live for those who value safety and security. At number 8, we have West Englewood.
Right now, police in Englewood are searching for clues in a shooting that left a 27-year-old man dead. It happened just after 9:30 last night in a grocery store parking lot near 71st and Ashland. Witnesses say the offender shot the victim several times as he was loading packages into his car. You can see the bullets shattered the windows. The shooter then ran from the scene. So far, there is no clear motive for this shoot.
Only about a 10-minute walk, and if that doesn't strike you, what will is the aftermath. What we saw at that shooting scene, at least a dozen bullet holes in one car. screams from a loved one in anguish as she sees the evidence of this brutal double murder. We counted 14 bullet holes in this car at a West Englewood gas station, some in the frame, most bullets fired in the passenger side window.
West Englewood has a reputation for being one of Chicago's most dangerous neighborhoods due to its high crime rates. With a crime rate of 9,551 crimes per 100,000 people, it is twice the Chicago average. The violent crime rate in West Englewood is also very high at 2,773 violent crimes per 100,000 people, with a 1 in 37 chance of becoming a victim. Property crimes are also prevalent, with a rate of 6,778 incidents per 100,000 people, giving residents a 1 in 15 chance of being a victim of a property crime. Burglary, assault, and robbery are common crimes in West Englewood, and it is recommended to avoid traveling alone at night. Number 7. We have Grand Crossing.
Looking for the person who shot and killed a dog in Greater Grand Crossing. It happened just before 10 last night at 68th and Prairie. You can see forensics teams documenting evidence like the bullet on the ground there. Investigators found the dog shot in a gated area. The animal died there. Security officers were also talking with police after a shooting overnight in the Grand Crossing neighborhood.
Yeah, this happened at 71st and King Drive. It was just before midnight. We don't have a lot of information about the victims at this point, but here's what we do know about this shooting. This is video of the initial shooting scene. It all started here. Police say 2 men were shot multiple times. One was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center and died. Police say the other man drove himself to the hospital, but on the way, he crashed into another car at Garfield and Wentworth, just off the Dan Ryan, and he later died at the hospital. The man and woman in the other car were taken to the hospital. They are expected to be okay. Right now, no one is in custody.
It's clear that Grand Crossing is one of Chicago's most dangerous neighborhoods, with a crime rate 317% higher than the national average. Violent crime, particularly gun violence, is a significant problem, with residents reporting hearing gunshots at night. Property crime is also a concern, with a 1 in 18 chance of becoming a victim. Anyone living or visiting Grand Crossing should take precautions to stay safe, including avoiding traveling alone at night and staying aware of their surroundings. At number 6, we have North Lawndale.
I mean, the neighborhood is beautiful. I mean, you can sleep outside on your porches if you want to. It was beautiful. Now you got to go and hide. Your kids can't come outside and play. I got grandkids. My kids, I don't even let my kids out here.
Where gunfire wounded 8, killing 1.
That's it. That's it. That was it, baby. That's it. Yep. Just like that.
That is how it sounded early Sunday morning when the gunfire woke up the residents.
CPD on the scene in the initial moments after the police-involved shooting on the 2100 block of South St. Louis. The man shot by police identified by family members as Javante Kindred, who was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital after the incident with life-threatening injuries.
They say he had a gun, but he showed that he didn't have a gun. So he started running, but, he stopped, he surrendered, and you shoot him. Then he falls to the ground, you stand over him, and you shoot him again.
Property crime in North Lawndale is also prevalent, with 7,603 incidents per 100,000 people. This means that residents have a 1 in 13 chance of becoming a victim of property crime. Burglary and theft are the most common types of property crimes in North Lawndale. Overall, it's important for residents and visitors to exercise caution when in this neighborhood, especially at night or in less populated areas. At number 5, we have Englewood.
Breaking overnight, 2 people are injured after a shooting in Englewood. It happened last night just after 7 o'clock. Chicago police say officers were driving near 59th and Halsted when they saw 3 people get out of a Toyota Corolla and shoot into an SUV. A police officer fired at the offenders, but they escaped. 2 victims inside that SUV, including a 17-year-old boy, were shot and taken to the University of Chicago hospital.
Breaking tonight, a mass shooting on the south side leaves 2 people dead and 3 others wounded.
The shooting happened in the Englewood neighborhood near 61st Place and South Union, with dozens of shots fired and the suspects still at large.
In 2022, the overall crime rate in Englewood was 13,657 incidents per 100,000 people. making it one of the most dangerous areas in Chicago. Residents have a 1 in 7 chance of becoming a victim of any type of crime. The violent crime rate in Englewood was 3,627 incidents per 100,000 people, making the chances of becoming a victim of a violent crime 1 in 28. The property crime rate was 10,030 incidents per 100,000 people, meaning residents have a 1 in 10 chance of becoming a victim of a property crime. Englewood has struggled with crime and violence for years, but community leaders and residents are working to make positive changes to improve safety and security in the neighborhood. At number 4, we have East Garfield Park.
Skycam 9 was over Bernard Berry's West Side home Monday as a SWAT team closed in. You can see the 75-year-old on the porch unraveling what looks to be a tube for an oxygen tank. Later, you see Berry sitting on the steps moments before he's arrested. Overkill for a 75-year-old? Turns out the septuagenarian has a lengthy criminal history, including previous convictions for murder. During his bond court this morning, prosecutors say Berry and another man were sitting in a parked car in the East Garfield Park neighborhood Monday afternoon when the victim, 42-year-old Tyron Evans, rode up on a bike, told them to get out of the car, and swung at Berry, who in turn shot Evans in the arm. The bullet passed through, hitting him in his side. He collapsed and died on the scene. Witnesses say Berry sped off. Prosecutors say Berry gave conflicting stories after he was arrested, but admitted to ditching the gun.
Emotional calls for justice from a community and top Chicago leaders 2 days after a shooting that injured 14 people on the west side, including several children.
Mayor Lightfoot and Police Superintendent David Brown joining a community vigil tonight.
Garfield Park, located in West Chicago, has a high rate of violent and property crime. In 2022, there were more than 2,800 violent crimes and over 6,500 property crimes reported in the area. Gun violence and gang activity are persistent issues in East Garfield, with more than 77 shootings reported in 2021. The overall crime rate in Garfield Park is 10,195 crimes per 100,000 people, which translates to a roughly 1 in 10 chance of becoming a victim of any type of crime for residents. In 2020, there were 7,117 property crimes per 100,000 people, meaning residents have a 1 in 14 chance of becoming a victim of a property crime. Meanwhile, the rate of violent crimes in the same year was 3,078 per 100,000 people, indicating a 1 in 33 chance of becoming a victim of a violent crime. Number 3, we have Austin.
Developing a 22-year-old woman dead after being shot at a gas station in the city's Austin neighborhood this afternoon. It happened a little bit after 3:30 near the corner of Madison and Cicero. Police say silver sedan traveling southbound on Madison stopped at that gas station. Then a passenger got out and just started shooting multiple rounds at the woman, striking her in the head and the leg. Nobody in custody. Detectives are investigating.
News from Austin, where police are searching for the gunman who shot 3 people. It happened at midnight on Laverne in Chicago. Police say 2 men and a 14-year-old boy were walking on the sidewalk when someone fired at them. A 24-year-old man was hit in the chest and is in critical condition. A 22-year-old man was shot in the foot, while the teen was hit in the thigh.
Located on the west side of Chicago, Austin has a high crime rate and is considered one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the city. In 2022, Austin ranked 11th in Chicago for violent crime and 25th for property crime. The neighborhood also ranked 5th in Chicago for quality of life crimes such as loitering, vagrancy, and unruly conduct. Residents of Austin should take precautions to ensure their safety and be aware of their surroundings at all times. At number 2, we have Washington Park.
This was a brazen shooting in broad daylight, all happening on the same block where a U.S. senator resides. Chicago police telling us the vehicle that the victims were traveling in was stolen.
Witnesses related that another vehicle pulled up alongside of the victim's vehicle as they were driving northbound on Prairie and fired several rounds, striking all of the occupants of the vehicle.
A silver Kia now plastered with bullet holes, multiple shell casings found in the street. According to witnesses, a lone gunman pulled up in a blue pickup truck before firing several bullets into the Kia. Inside, police say were 4 teenagers.
We begin with breaking news. Shots fired in a Southside park, sending multiple people to the hospital with serious injuries.
This mass shooting unfolding tonight in Washington Park.
The violent crime rate in Washington Park was 3,216 incidents per 100,000 people, which means residents have a 1 in 31 chance of becoming a victim of a violent crime. Property crime was also high in the area, with a rate of 7,321 incidents per 100,000 people. This means residents have a 1 in 14 chance of becoming a victim of a property crime. Overall, the neighborhood has a crime rate of 10,537 incidents per 100,000 people, which is very high compared to the national average. At number 1, we have West Garfield Park.
We begin with breaking news on a story we first brought you earlier tonight. 3 people have now died following a shooting in West Garfield Park that also injured a 4th person.
WGN's Patrick Elwood has a story from Mount Sinai Hospital where those victims died.
Well, good afternoon. Again, I know a lot of folks are getting tired of reporting on shooting. You know, we're kind of tired here. Everybody is pretty shop-worn over seeing this every single day. But we got to remember, folks, these are human beings down here. These are not statistics. So we're going to bring you what we know. This is the second shooting in West Garfield Park in less than 12 hours within about 5.5 blocks of each other. About 2 o'clock this afternoon, 4 men were shot here, ranging in age from 39 to 17. This is a 4,400 block of West Gladys in West Garfield Park.
The most dangerous neighborhood in Chicago is West Garfield Park. Located on Chicago's west side, West Garfield Park has a disproportionately high violent crime rate, with crime being 257% higher in West Garfield Park than in the rest of the city. Residents have a 1 in 20 chance of becoming victims of a violent crime. West Garfield's violent crime can be attributed to extensive gang activity in the area. Making a difference in the lives of those living in poverty-stricken areas can be done through community involvement programs and volunteer opportunities. By taking part in activities that support the local population, you can help improve the quality of life for residents of these areas. You can also spread awareness about their needs and provide resources to help them get back on their feet. With your help, we can make a real difference in the lives of those living in poverty-stricken areas.